Hello, everybody. I hope you are fine. Today's lesson is about conditional sentences. Now, if you kindly remember, we talked about tenses in English in the other lessons, and now we're going to use those tenses, a few of them, very practically. The title is Conditional Sentences. Means, or better to say conditional structures, because it's not just one sentence. You're using more than one. You're using at least two sentences together in one particular structure, which is called conditional. It has two parts. Part one is the condition. You set something, you say, if this happens, if, then the answer to that condition or the outcome would be something else, which is mentioned, which is stated by another sentence. Okay, so in a way, you are combining two sentences. One is the condition, the other one is the outcome or the answer to that condition. And generally speaking, we have four types of conditional structure or sentences. Okay, type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3. This is one way to look at it. Okay, so again, if you remember, once I mentioned these names are not that much important. Okay, how you use them is important. All right, so I'm going to give you a very short account of each, and with a few examples, and we'll wrap it up quickly. So the first type is conditional type 0. How you get that, how you make it, you have if plus present simple, and then a comma, and then again you have present simple. Okay, so this is type 0, and it shows the conditions which are real and which are scientific, which are true every time, anywhere. All right. For instance, you can say, if you heat water to 100 degrees, it boils. If you touch fire, you get burned. If the sun sets, it gets dark. So both parts are present simple, and they show. And if you remember that one of the main usages, actually the main usage of present simple was to explain about scientific facts. These are scientific facts. If you do this, this happens. All right, so this is conditional type 0. The second conditional is conditional type 1, which is used for real possibilities and situations which can happen in present or future. For instance, you say, if you, and this is a very, very, let's say, frequent example we teachers use. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. I repeat, if you study hard, you will pass the exam. Means, okay, there's this condition, you do that, then you will benefit in future. You will have the outcome in future, which is passing the exam. All right, so the formula is if plus present simple, and then you have subject, and of course you should add one comma. In the middle you have a comma. And when you're speaking, this is a little pause. Comma translates to a little pause. If plus present simple, comma, then you have subject plus will plus the verb, which is, I mean, subject plus will plus the verb is, the base of the verb is the simple future, or future simple, as you can say. All right. For instance, you can say, if it rains tomorrow, we will cancel the picnic. If it rains tomorrow, we will cancel the picnic. If I find your book, I will return it to you. Okay, so maybe you just hope, okay? This might happen, okay, in future, because it can be real. Conditional type 1. Now about conditional type 2. It's called hypothetical or unlikely situation, okay? So you're talking about the present or future, but it is hypothetical. It means most probably not happening. Okay, the structure is if plus past simple, and then you have one comma, and then subject plus would plus the base of the verb. The second part, the second sentence in a way is not any particular tense, okay? So you have would plus the base of the verb. And then again, it is hypothetical or unreal. For instance, you say, if I were a millionaire, I would travel the world. So are you a millionaire? No. So you cannot travel the world. All right? So hypothetical or unreal. Maybe sometimes you can explain your wishes. It's wishful thinking, okay? If she studied more, she would get better grades. So I expect that she's not studying more and she will not get better grades, okay? So the condition is explained by past simple. And then the outcome is either right now or in future. For instance, you say, if he spoke French, he would work in Paris. So, does he speak French? No. Can he work in Paris? No. Okay, so hypothetical. If you ask nicely, she would help you. That means you're not asking nicely and she wouldn't help you. All right, so don't expect her to help you. Unreal. Conditional type 2, which shows the unreal situations. Now, let's get to the last type. Conditional type 3 is the last one. This one refers to hypothetical situations in the past, things that didn't happen. But they were supposed to happen, they didn't happen, or were not supposed to happen and happen. Okay, so it's just the other way around. The formula is if plus past perfect. And hopefully you remember how you make past perfect. Okay, had plus PP. Okay, this is the condition. And then one comma. Always remember to put the comma. And then you have subject plus. Now you have different varieties. You can say would have PP, could have PP, might have PP, or should have PP. Okay, all of them can work. There are some slight differences in the meaning. All right. I will explain them in a few seconds. Now, let me give you some examples. First, you would say that the studying thing that we teachers like. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the test. So it means that I did not study harder and I could not pass the test. I did not pass the test. Another example, if we had known about the party, we would have gone. It means if we knew that there was a party, we would have gone, but we didn't know, so we didn't go. If they had practiced more, they would have won the match. So the condition, if they had practiced more. Did they practice more? No. They would have won the match. Did they win the match? No. All right, so the condition was not there, so the outcome, the expected outcome is not there either. All right, now, again, I mentioned this is hypothetical, and I'm going to explain about the differences between could and should and would and might. So let me explain them like this. We have could, which means ability. Then we have might, which means possibility or probability. There is a slight difference between possibility and probability, but anyhow, they are explained by might. And then you have should, which shows necessity. So if you are going to express necessity of an activity or action, you should use should. And then suppose that you forget them or you're not that much exact, you can have something in between, which is would. So in a way, it's a bit of all the above. Okay, so again, if you're not sure which one is better, could or might or should, you can use would. Okay, it can almost cover everything. And then again, remember the formula is would or should or could or might have PP. Okay, so much so good. So much so good with the 4 types of conditionals. Conditional 0, 1, 2, and 3. And now, as always, I'm going to give you one example with Khomeini and Aftabe for each. All right, for conditional type 0, I can say, if Khomeini leaves his golden Aftabe outside, some other thief mullah steals it. You know, all this is quite scientifically proven, right? Okay, so all mullahs are liars and thieves. Okay, so you can expect them to steal anything. Very well. For type 1, I can say if Khomeini forgets to lock his Aftabe storage, other mullahs will steal them. So again, this is the manifestation of, this is the reality of the nature of these mullahs. Okay, they steal. If they can, they steal. If they cannot, they ruin. All right. So I repeat, if Khomeini forgets to lock his Aftabe storage, other mullahs will steal them. Now for type 2, conditional type 2, which is unreal, we can say, if Khomeini knew how to fix a leaky Aftabe, he wouldn't have to ask Hashemi to do that. So what does it mean? It means that Khomeini did not know how to fix the leaky Aftabe. So Hashemi, a younger thief, a younger mullah, could help that. And then the last one, conditional type 3, you can say, if Khomeini had been more careful, he wouldn't have broken his favorite Aftabe. So what this entails is that Khomeini was not careful, and then something bad happened to his favorite Aftabe. Maybe it was smashed into pieces or shattered into pieces, or stolen or whatever. Okay, so something happened. Khomeini had not been careful. If Khomeini had been more careful, he wouldn't have broken his Aftabe, favorite Aftabe. So it means that Khomeini was not careful. Something bad happened to the Aftabe. Uh, uh, well, I don't know how non-Iranians will feel about these things. Okay, right now, all right. This is how I do my duty fighting these monsters. All right. I'm sure these sentences make absolute sense to the Iranians, okay? What I mean, and then you non-Iranians, okay, hopefully you're with me. Again, structurally speaking, all these sentences that I gave you are correct. You don't trust me, you can just ask ChatGPT, okay? Just replace Aftabe with some thing, a pot, for instance, whatever, okay? And then see that they're correct. Right? And that is interesting. Okay, using your imagination and you remember again, I told you before that the language is in your hand. You can use the language the way you want, provided that you are careful with the grammatical rules and of course the words, the good vocabulary, and then even sky is not the limit. Okay, so don't worry about that. Very well, I suppose it's enough for this lesson today. And as always, I'll give you a summary of today's lesson, okay, at the end of this clip. So please watch that. It's good for a review. And hopefully you will practice the conditional structure. Okay, so you should know you should practice the tenses, and then this is one very good way to do that. Right? Conditional. And then, of course, they will, if you master them well, they will enable you to express yourself in a very, very efficient way. I hope you can do that. All right, so let's call it a session. Let's call it a video. Okay, and see you later. Until then, goodbye.